sit. This is Sasha, and in this video I'm going to go over some tips that you can use if you have a dog that likes to bark and get upset when people come through the door. Now, Sasha also gets upset if she has people over that she knows and they suddenly get up or sneeze. She barks at them, correct? So basically, I think she thinks that she's in charge of the world. Well, not necessarily in charge of the world. I think that she thinks her job to contribute to this group is to be the guard dog. Now, one of the things the Guardians mentioned was that they like it when she gives an alerting bark to let them know that somebody's here. A lot of people, I find, they put their dog in a little bit of dangerous situation because they want it to be a guard dog but don't want it to be a guard dog, and it's hard for dogs to do that. So I usually recommend either I'm a guard dog or I'm a domesticated, just a companion dog. Now, we also at the same time probably have times where we would like the dog to bark, and so I have clients in California who are women who want a nice dog, but they do want the dog to help get creeps away from them and offer some protection. So for my dog, if my dogs in the backyard see a squirrel, I say the word alert when they see the squirrel. And so now I had a friend of mine that borrowed the dog and she was out in a jog and she said some weird guy came up to her and she told me about this, that it was happening to her. And I said, next time it happens, say alert. She goes, this guy came up to me, she goes, I said alert. And she goes, this guy turned around, he should have in brown shorts. He couldn't run away fast enough. What does alert mean? She didn't know. Alert just means there's a squirrel. Now in California, a lot of my clients call this protect. So every time you see a squirrel and she starts barking, say protect. I would not do when people are actually coming to your door, only for animals and things that are independent of this because you don't want to cross the streams. So now you can give her a verbal response and say protect if there's a creep at your door and she starts barking like crazy. Most people are just going to walk away. Now she's a little dog, she's not going to help out a ton, but she might be able to give you that 1 second you need to if you need to get away. And I kind of look at it as you're not creating a guard dog, but you're creating a command that gets her animated. Most people won't know the difference, but if it does come to pass, she's now kind of like limbered up and ready to go, and she can bite their ankles and give you that 1 second you need to get away. So, all right, so when we come to the door, and I'm going to try to link a couple of videos on this write-up of showing these examples, but there's a couple of things that you can do. So first of all, when I came to the door, the Guardian was going to open the door, and she was barking. Now, whoever's in front is in charge. So she was in front of the Guardian. So I'm outside, here's the door, and here's the dog, and then the Guardian. So from the dog's perspective, she's in front of the Guardian, so she's in the guard dog position. So basically, I would recommend when you have people come to the door, if you can keep the inside door open like it is here, I would probably have it closed, and when people come to the door, have them watch the video, either this one or the one below it or above it where I have it linked. And so basically when they come to the door, they're going to knock on the door, you're going to come and open the inside door, and the dog's going to be barking like crazy, and you're just like going to stand right there in the background, not say a single word. Any attention is validating to the dog. She can't stay in this crazy energy forever. She'll bark, 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 bark. So what I do, and she can see me through the screen door, she can't reach me. So we're creating a scenario where we can help her practice. Now I want to use operant conditioning. I don't want to tell her sit, go here, go there. That's micromanaging her. What I want her to do is I want her to learn how to do this on her own. So the person's standing outside the door. If you feel bad, you can make a little lemonade or a cocktail, put it outside your door. And basically you have the person wait outside the door until her barking and her excitement level subsides. So again, we're not correcting her at all. Once her energy level kind of comes down, it's like instead of bark, 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 it's like bark, bark. Wait for that pause between barks and then have the guest reach for the handle. They won't even be able to touch the handle. Just reach up and she'll get all crazy again. They pull their arms down and just wait. If they need to, they can turn sideways to the dog so it's a profile and just wait for her to settle herself down again. And as soon as she settles, then reach for the handle again. You'll probably have to reach for the handle 2, 3, 10 times. And eventually you can actually reach to the handle and she's not barking. So the next step is I reach for the handle and I jiggle it. And that's going to get her to get up excited and bark again. I pull my hand back and I wait for her to calm down. It's important to note there's a difference between calm and calmer. And also for when it comes to dogs, most people confuse excited for happy when it comes to dogs. But excited is an unbalanced state of mind, just like any other. That's when they're most likely to make mistakes. So once I get to the actual, I jiggle it, then the next thing is I jiggle it and open it just maybe ½ an inch and close it right away. And pull my hand back all the way back down, wait for her to settle down. What we're doing is we're breaking down the activity into a bunch of small individual steps and helping her practice them one at a time and not moving on to the next step until the dog is behaving the way that you want. So this way we can teach her, and actually we're not teaching her, we're waiting for her to figure it out on her own. So when she's like, when I'm calm, they start trying to come inside. When I get excited, they stop the process. I want them to come inside. probably some people. And after a while, she'll learn to keep calm because that's what gets them to come through the door. Now, does she jump up on people okay, so jumping up on people when they come through the door is a dog's way of claiming you or saying that I'm in charge around here. So what I want to do instead is I've got another video where what I do is I have you inside with, and you can use either one of these techniques. I wouldn't use them in concert together. So what I would do is I basically put the dog on a leash, and I step on the leash, give the dog about this much room, and position it so the dog can't reach, that's the doorway, maybe can't reach that carpet. So the guest can come in and stay on that carpet and dog is out of reach. And she'll try to super dog it up and let me jump up on you. And the person stays out of reach, and I usually turn sideways so I'm profiled to them. You're stepping on the leash, or you have it tethered to the couch here so she, it's probably about the right distance, so she can't reach the guest. And again, we're not telling her what to do. We're using operant conditioning. As soon as she calms herself down, then I turn towards her and start reaching. And she's going to wiggle, I pull back, and I turn to the side again. Again, no corrections. So what I'm saying is when you're calm, you're very attractive to me, I want to pet you. When you get excited, it causes me to stop, move back out of your reach and turn to the side and ignore you. The only thing that she can do to get me to pet her is by being calm. Now, it might take 15, 20 reaches. It's not unusual to be a lot like that. So what I would recommend you do is have friends that live nearby or neighbors that come by to do this. Neighbors are great because it accomplishes, first of all, it's convenient for them to come by. Also, when they come in, once the dog is calm and you can reach and pet the dog, then they just turn and leave. A lot of times the dog is so excited at the door because that means somebody's going to come in and they're going to be here for a while. So now the guests come in and I have to be calm, and as soon as they're calm, then I leave. Well, if she doesn't like the guest, being calm causes the guest to leave. So that also can help her, but she's also in a more balanced state of mind. Now, she also likes to bark, and a lot of the Guardian's doing something here that a lot of my clients do, is they have, I don't know if they did it specifically for her, but I've had people that actually create a little pedestal or a place for the dog to sit and look out the window in the front of the house. Now that's basically put the dog in a guard dog position because if it's more comfortable, some people put the tripod down on their thigh. And so basically, if people are walking by the front of the house, they're just on a walk, they're not coming here. She sees them, she hears them, and she runs over the door and she's like, hey you, I see you, I'm barking at you to tell you I don't want you to be here. You're getting close to our property. Now you've crossed our property line. Dude, you're in my area. I am the guard dog right here. That's right, keep going, and don't come back. And every time that happens, she thinks that those people are gonna come and invade your house and steal your computer and your babies and your TVs. But for her due diligence, she saved the day and stopped them from coming in. But do you guys appreciate it? No, you yell at me. You don't even appreciate all the hard work I'm doing. Dogs live through association. So if every time somebody comes and I bark at them and it appears that they left, I think that I'm the cause of them leaving. So that's going to reward and reinforce that behavior. Now we have a nice window here. I'm not going to show it, but we have a nice window. Let's say nice light, and the Guardians have some kind of darker dry, and they can close that, but so the dog can't see outside. But we probably like that light. We probably like to have our home nice and airy. Well, somebody does too. So basically what I've done is a lot of times we call this, we call it maintenance. And maintenance is basically providing a structure so the dog isn't reinforced. If you have a friend who is an alcoholic, you find out it's their 1-year anniversary being sober, you don't take them to a bar. You take them to a picnic or a restaurant or something else to reinforce and to support it without adding temptation. So a lot of times the dog thinks I'm in guard duty. Now the Guardian here, and it's kind of a quiet neighborhood, but has this door open, so she probably sits there a lot and looks out the window. She's actually practicing being guard dog. The great window here, there's a couch that she likes to jump up on and sit and look out. She's on sentry duty. So what I do is I would recommend taking away the furniture, and we talked about that in the rules section of this session, but I also do a Roman blind. A Roman blind is a blind that covers the bottom part of the window. So I had the same problem with my dogs at home. They bark like crazy and knocking the lamps down, jumping on well, I just grabbed white paper, cut it out so it just covers the bottom part of the window. I'm tall. I can see over the window. It still lets light in. It adds a filter. And now people come by my house, my dogs don't even want to run to the window because they can't see out. They run to the window. They don't get the validation of being able to see what they're barking at. So now the sounds outside aren't associated with a trigger, and now they just aren't as responsive for that. Now, one of my puppy class instructors, Megan, has pointed out to me that I'm not very domesticated because I'm a bachelor. White paper is maybe not desirable for a lot of people. If you go to Lowe's and Home Depot, they make kind of a film that you can kind of put on an adhesive, and that way it looks a little bit better. Just make sure the dog can't see through it. If they can see through it, put it on both sides of the window. That usually is enough to block the visual acuity. But just do the bottom part of the window. She's especially a little dog, so you don't have to go too high. And if we take away the furniture, then she can't go and look out that window. We can still leave our blinds open, and we can still see. And that one, if you're not going to do the X mats to keep her off the furniture, then I would maybe just put a little sliver just right above the couch of just white paper, maybe about where that bar is, your drape holders. And that would prevent her from being able to see out. So she doesn't get the reinforcement every time she goes over there. Now, when you have guests that come over, the guest feels social pressure to pet the dog and reinforce the dog and become friends with the dog. Anything our dog is doing when we pet it is what we're reinforcing. And the guardian kind of cringed when I mentioned this because normally it's okay, relax. Well, I've seen people, not only anything your dog is doing when you pet it, you're reinforcing, but I've seen people create a command word. So every time somebody comes to the door, they're like, it's okay, good girl. It's okay, good girl. The only time I hear, it's okay, good girl, is when somebody's at the door. So clearly, it's okay, good girl means bark and spaz out at people that come to the door. So be cognizant that you're not giving your dog a command word for that. So what you can do is arrange to have friends come over, and I would maybe get one of these little treat pouches. This is a mini version. This is from Pet Safe. This is a mini treat pouch. You can load it up with all sorts of treats, and then they can clip it to their belt. And when they come in, now the dog's like, that guest sure smells like those delicious treats that I get. We're creating that positive association. So now if you give the dog the treat when she's freaking out, that's what you're reinforcing. So we don't do that. When the guest comes over, first of all, if you practice the door exercise I talked about in the beginning, by the time you actually come in, and it might take 3 or 4 or 5 minutes before the guest can come in at first. I had one client where it was about 25 minutes. That was a dog who was human aggressive. That's different. But finally I was able to come in. So, and the next time it was like half that time. The next time it was even faster. So if you stage these things, they'll accelerate the process. And eventually the dog will just be calm right from the get-go. Also, when the guardians come home, make sure that you ignore the dog. Now, what I recommend is you get an X pen. There's basically 24-inch panels that are connected with hinges. So you can kind of create a little doggy playpen around different shapes. I would create a little bit of a barrier around the door because when the guardians come home, she's up on top of them. Now, if we pet a dog when she's excited, we're going to make her more excited. We're also going to reward her for that behavior and that jumping up. So if we have this little area, because we have young children in the family, so the guardians can come in, put their stuff down, the dog can't reach them, we're using a tool for a short period of time, shouldn't be that long. And then she learns, and then once you get the door closed and you're comfortable, you come inside, ignore her. Don't look at her, don't talk to her, don't tell her no. Act like she's invisible. And as soon as she gets calm, start reaching for it, she'll start wiggling, pull your arm back. You might have to reach for her 5, 10, 25 times, and it's not being mean. What we're just saying is when you get excited, it causes me to lose interest in petting you. And after enough repetition, when you come home, she'll be calm and relaxed and not as jumpy. And no offense, but the guardian's husband isn't like jumping over going, you're home, I've been waiting for you all day, baby. Our dogs do that. We're all little narcissists, but we pet the dog. Each time we do this, make the dog maybe 1/5 of a percentage point more excited. Well, that might be 1% a day. And it doesn't take very long for the dog to get out of balance. So getting back, so that's for you guys when you come home and your relatives. For your guests, when they come in, again, they're going to wait outside until the dog is nice and calm, and do it now. This is the perfect time of year to do it. Try to get somebody to do this at least once a day for 3 weeks. Multiple times a day, even better. Like I said, get your neighbors and people involved. Most people do it like once, they skip a couple days and do it again. It'll slow down your progress tremendously. And you don't want to have people waiting outside when it's 0 degrees. This is perfect weather to do it. Make them a little mint julep and they sit outside, put a little chair outside. I had one woman, she'd make cocktails and had neighbors come over, and after a while the neighbor's man is like, I wish your dog would jump up. I kind of like coming over and sitting on your front porch and drinking a mint julep. People are looking at me why I'm in front of your house. But it was a good positive experience. So once you can finally come in the house and the dog's kind of already gotten over it because the energy is a lot calmer, then you come in and when it comes to dogs, the social pressure I mentioned earlier, we want to reach over and pet the dog and show that we're a good person. Well, I don't think she's going to like that, number one, even if you can pet her. And if you can, you're going to probably reinforce that nervousness or that anxiety. So what we want to do is wait and just ignore her, pretend like she's not there. Don't try to make eyes at her or wink at her or make sounds or show you have treats. Just kind of hang out. And after she sits or lies down, then you can pull out a treat. Now, for dogs, front-facing is confrontational. Sideways is approachable. So when you pull out a treat, what we'd like to do is she's half asleep on the floor. We'll see if we can wake her up. So what I would like to do is turn sideways and hold the treat out here. And what I want her to do is I want her to practice coming towards me. And notice I didn't pet her, and I left my hand there, and she went back for it a second time. Now, I worked with a dog in California that was so fearful it wouldn't come to the person all the way. And if that's the case, what you do is take a treat and throw it halfway distance between you and the dog. What we want her to do is practice approaching the person, something good happens, and then I get to go away. And you should keep on practicing this until she doesn't have any hesitation. A lot of times dogs do what I call stealing second base. So they have one of their feet way behind them. They're ready to run away. Now, if you, so I don't want you to try to entice the dog. I wait for the dog to sit. And as soon as it sits, hold that to the side. When she looks up, you could say the word come if you want, but just leave your hand there. Wait for her to retract. Then pull out your hand here. So if you can't accomplish this, then you're just going to throw the treat. Start out throwing the treat halfway between you and the dog. If she won't come to take it, then throw it halfway between the dog and the treat. So it's like 75% of the way. So the idea, she might only come and take it, snatch it, run away. Keep on doing that until eventually she comes a little bit closer, and eventually you'll be able to do it off to your hand. So now she realizes when people come, instead of thinking that they're a violator, they're going to steal the kids or the computer, these people are like treat delivery people. They're here, their purpose in life is to come here and give me treats. I have these people all wrong. Come. So resist the urge to try to pet her or engage with her or look at her. No look, no eye contact, no talking to her. And see how she sits. That time she sat closer to me. She didn't sit on the carpet. She sat a little bit closer. And this is what we're looking for her to do is come over, feel comfortable, and you see her tail's going down. If this is the dog's spine and the dog's head is here, this is where my arm is the tail. This is alertive, and she's being an Eskimo, hers is going to be curly, but it's going to be up high. That's kind of flying the flag is what I call it. It's like alert, confident, assertive. Insecure is there, if this is the anus, they're going to try to cover the anus with their tail. That's an insecurity. So never pet your dog, you or anybody else, when the tail is down like that. What we'd like to see the tail doing is kind of coming parallel with the spine and just going out in the middle in kind of a nice slow wave. And so that's what we'd like to see. If you see the dog's tail up, then don't try to engage with it. So now we can arrange down. Now when the guests come over, first of all, the dog's calm before we come inside. When every time it approaches the human, something good happens. And not only until the dog, and then the last little thing is when you think that you can start petting the dog, what I want you to do, let's put you over here so we have a profile. It's a little bit easier for the camera if you're on this side. Sit. Now I'm not going to ask you to ask her to sit. I'm just doing this to keep her in position. So what I do when I reach to pet a dog that I don't know is I reach and I stop there. Now, I've been giving her a lot of treats, that's why she came back, but I want you to stop at 90%, and I want the dog to take the last 10%. Now, if the dog does this, she pulls back, she lowers her head, her ears flip back, she kind of ducks down or turns her head to the side. Those are all her way of saying, I would prefer you don't touch me. And because we think touching is okay because it's a positive, we reach over and pet him anyways. Resist that. The more that we show her that, yeah, we're listening to you. When you said, I don't want to touch you, you to touch me, or me to touch you, I don't do it. After a while, that's where we can build confidence and trust in someone by they show us through their actions that they're not going to try to take our stuff or take our TV or whatever it is. Now, if you do have a guest over in the transition period of time, and you know that if they get up to go to the bathroom, she's going to start barking, well, what I usually like to do is precede it, salute. So what I would do is if I'm going to get up, I'm going to give her a treat, then I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to give her a treat, and then I'm going to take a step. And I'm going to take another step, and I'm going to drop the treat as I walk away. So what we're doing is we're preceding the movement with a positive, number one, and number two, when the people move around, instead of complaining that they're moving around, I should like it when they move around because they just drop treats from the ground. So after a while, we're creating all these positive associations for the dog. Now, and combined with all the other stuff that we're going on through the session, we're hoping to build her self-esteem and confidence, put her on an off-duty scenario so she doesn't think that it's her job to patrol the street or to shake people down as they come in. All right, let's get one more treat for you, and we'll sign this video off. Sasha. Oh, this is Sasha. Sit. Sit. That's the new baby. And these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that disagrees or likes to bark or jump up on people who come to visit your house.